pastor, but my heart wasn't in it. Here's when it started to change. Simon, which is Leanne's stepdad, he just made sort of like a joking comment. He's like, oh, we love what you're doing here with the kids, but you're a young lady. You'll get married and you'll run away. What will happen then? To be honest, I never thought about that. Oh, that's a bad sign. I never thought about that. But as soon as he did, I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, if I leave, what's going to happen to the youth? When I was in youth, we'd have someone, and they'd talk about how much they loved us, and how much we're going to do this, this, and this, and we never did anything. And as soon as they left, all those ideas were gone. And then I realized that if me, as your youth pastor, do something, doesn't matter how good the activity seem, but I go off and I leave, and nothing becomes of this, I failed. If we have a youth group that one person leaves, one person isn't able to do their job, and we fall apart, then we failed as a team. That made me think, okay, we just don't need more plans. We just don't need more activities. What we need is a structure, like a new way of doing things, almost kind of like a government, right? So think of how things are here in the U.S. We have had 40-something presidents. One is for a few years, then the next, then the next. The people change. The people occupying the positions may alternate and switch out, but the country doesn't end because one president leaves, because the structure that is there is a system that is intentionally meant to be flexible, that exists outside of the individual. That's what I realized we need in youth, and I was thinking, well gosh, how are we going to do that? And then it hit me. That's what pastor's trying to do. You see, I was looking at it, we're just going to make these teams, these little clubs, we're going to make some activities, and then we're all just going to go back and doing the same thing. But that's not what I want us to see. What I think we are fully capable of doing, like the forefathers who wrote the Constitution and created a country, created a system, is to make something that'll last. Yes. It has to be something that's, effective, right? So it has to be able to accomplish things. It can't be too complicated, so simplicity is the key. But it also has to be flexible, because I'm not the same as I've been the last 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. You're not going to be the same a few years from now. We have so many young people that are going to get old enough to be in youth, get old enough to be out of youth. So it has to be able to change with the needs and the demands that we have on the group at the time. So here's what I came up with.
Now one, I'm an official.
Remember those teams that we had? Everyone signed up a list and we all thought we're supposed to do something. I've decided to do just a little rebranding. Can everyone see that, or maybe I should put it somewhere else?
No, it's good.
No, it's good.
I've come to the realization that in order for something to be effective, in order for something to work, it has to be simple and it has to be adaptable. How can we get something, turn the teams and the idea that we were seeing for Next Gen into something simple, into something adaptable? Well, look at this chair. This chair can support, it can do a lot, but it doesn't have 6 legs, 7 legs, 20 legs. It has the bare minimum. It's got 4 legs. So all those teams that we were talking about, all those roles and responsibilities, I've cut it down to the essentials, and then everything will fall into one of these categories. So I know we've done a lot of lists, we've done a lot of sign-ins before. Forget that. Not forget that, but let's think of it differently. Think of it differently. Everything can be simplified into 4 easy categories. Number 1, worship. This is everything from music to music mentorship to vocal development. It's the dance team. It's anything that someone has a desire to do to bring others into the presence of God. We had all these little groups, all these little teams. Gold is worship, and the audience is the church, the whole church, all ages, our whole Deeper Life Assembly. Our next group will be logistics, and like technical support. So I'm putting some things together. This is the IT. This is the audio visual. This is any problem solving coordination. This is scheduling, and for us, transportation is a big deal. These are the guys or the girls who's gonna help us get done the ideas that we have and bring it into reality. They're the wheels of the car. Next is, I nicknamed it InReach, but the real name is Discipleship and Hospitality. This is all the aspects of ministry, all the things that we have to contribute that's to feed us, that's to come and build us where we're lacking, where we're missing. It's connecting with new guests and having greeters. It can be a cooking or a food team. It can be Bible study, any spoken word ministry, determining speakers that will come. And if we get to the point that we want to do small groups and studies, that's what InReach would be. The audience there is different. It's not the whole church. It's us. That audience is what things that we need to get our growth and our spiritual understanding to the next level. And lastly, the one covered in little handprints, is outreach. We've never done outreach before. It's going to include the advertising and the social media components. It's also going to have big events that we're excited about, right? Culture Day, plays, concerts. But it's also going to be connecting with the community, volunteerism, a street team. Do you guys know what a street team is? It's people that take the time to go out there, whether you're praying for people on the street, whether you're talking to the homeless, whether you are doing something where you're outside of your bubble and you're talking to someone that you've never met before for the purpose of making a connection with them. It can be missions, communications, and all that jazz will be under this too. And the audience for this one is the world. Sometimes we overcomplicate something. We say we need this and this and this, but honestly, the basis of any good church, and that's what we are. We are the little baby church growing inside of the big church. You gotta take care of your inside, take care of your outside, make sure it works, and, well, because we love God, worshiping the Lord. In a few minutes, I am going to hand you guys out your investment. This would be for the young people, but also for the parents. Because if you don't have skin in the game, you're not really playing.
Are you going to play poker?
Maybe, in a sense. Yes, please. Grab some. And give one out to everyone.
Any color?
Any color.
Can I spend it, or do I have to go to Vegas?
This chip is yours. While we're hanging out for the next hour, however long, while we are eating dinner, you see those markers I brought? Those beautiful neon and metallic permanent markers? Make this chip your own. Put your name on it. I have your contact information. Don't just put your name into it, but personalize it. Make it something that really does represent you. Sorry about that.
I forgot how much it is.
And during the course,
What color you got here?
during the course of the dinner, your job is to not just flippantly take a few moments and think, because you can only choose one. You only got one chip.
Are we playing
Where
poker?
do you feel the Spirit leading you? Which team, which box, and I'll keep those description there, do you have like a burning desire, something that you want to see, something that you think you can do? Not just because it's easy, but because you really care about it. While we're eating dinner, you're going to, oh, that one, who's missing one? You're gonna make your investment. You're gonna put your chip, you're gonna put your money where your mouth is. More or less.
Don't eat it.
The parents, do you guys have some too? The reason why I'm also including the adults is because you also can invest in worship, in inreach, in outreach. Who doesn't have one? Awesome. while we're having dinner, write your name, personalize it, but pray over your chip. Pray for the Lord to guide you which box is yours. Grab your food, chit chat, socialize. We'll be free for like 20 minutes. Go back over and read these little cards. And these are just some ideas, some suggestions, so you can see what it could be. And when we reconvene in about 15 minutes, then we'll go to the next stage. All right, you guys are free.